Hey, what's going on? In this video, I just really wanted to share with you the top 10 quotes or short, brief pieces of advice that I've ever heard that I just want to share with you. Some of them I really like. Before I get started, down below in the description, there's a link. And if you do click on it, there's training on how someone can make the most amount of money using various social media platforms. Uh, Now, before I get started, I do want to do a brief shout out to a book called Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss. Many of these sayings I got from that book. It's a wonderful read. And he interviews the top people in various industries about their short pieces of advice that they give out. Now, the first quote or short piece of advice that I really like is to make a decision when you have 40 to 70% of the information. And after 70%, it's really too long. And I have no idea where I got this quote from, but I heard Tai Lopez say it one time, and I think it's from him. And I thought it was just great because too many people, they just can't make a decision. It's like they're too scared to make a mistake or something. And I'm thinking about the school system where, it kind of punishes you for failure. And I heard Robert Kiyosaki say one time that the definition of an A student is someone who only has one right answer. And the truth is, there's multiple right answers in our lives. So the quicker you can make a decision, the quicker you can see the results and really kind of learn from it. And if you don't make any mistakes, or you don't learn from anyone else making mistakes, then you don't really learn. You don't improve and get educated. So that's what he thinks. And I thought it was a really great saying. The next quote that I really like comes from Whitney Cummings, and she's the co-creator of that show called Two Broke Chicks. And what she said was, networking actually hurts you in most cases. Don't waste your time socializing with people who you think can help you just get better, and opportunities will naturally present themselves once you deserve them. And I really like this quote because there's definitely some truth to it. You don't have to go around brown nosing people. Uh, you know, if you just do your job really good, then people will naturally be attracted to you. All right, and number three, I would pick uh, another one from Tai Lopez. The number one way to become a sucker is to keep the wrong people in your life. I've been a sucker for, I believe, most of last year, and I really had some pretty lousy friends, and it really brought me down. Kind of like the saying he says a lot too is after 5 minutes of a poker game, if you don't know who the sucker is, you're the sucker. So, getting new friends can really improve your life in a lot of ways too, which you have to watch out for. That's why I like it. Number four, the fourth quote or short piece of advice that I really like, which I want to share, is the things that you own end up owning you. It's from Chuck Palahniuk, if I pronounce his last name right. Now, maybe 2.5 years ago, I made a decision to really sell nearly all my belongings and travel through India. I went to Cambodia for a while too, and it was really a wonderful decision, and it allowed me to free up a lot of stuff. I didn't have to worry about any of my belongings and stuff. And I see my parents both kind of struggle with this stuff, where they have so much stuff that it ends up owning them, and they're always constantly worrying about it and stuff like that. All right, so that's a great quote. Next up, I would choose a quote from Jocko Willink, who was a commander of the United States SEAL team, and he's retired now. And I'm almost cheating here because it's like two quotes, but he says discipline equals freedom, and also to take ownership. All right, and if you think about it, discipline equals freedom makes a lot of sense. If you want to have the freedom to move your body, then you need the discipline to exercise it, get rest, and eat the food that it wants. You'll treat it good. Otherwise, if you don't have the discipline to do that, then you're gonna suffer. Same thing with money and everything. So that makes a lot of sense to me. And the reason to take ownership, which I'm trying to do more in my life, is it gives you a lot of power. When you don't take ownership and you say, "Oh, it's somebody else's fault," you give them power. But if you blame yourself, then you could change, and you have a lot more control and freedom in your own life. So that's why I like that quote a lot. All right. Now for quote 6, I would choose, it's not how well you play the game, it's deciding what game you want to play. This is from Kwame Appiah. And, we live in an age where there's a shitload of distractions. And being able to focus is really, really big. Boom. And deciding what game you want to do and sticking to it can be very, very helpful. Uh, and burnout happens when you're kind of like doing the wrong stuff. So you want to change your game. I've been thinking about lately myself. Kind of like the saying, "Jack of all trades, but a master of none." So it's maybe better just to stick to one thing. Now, the next quote I like is, "The three most important things in your life is to give, uh, live, and forgive." And by Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks. You have to give first to receive. First you want to put the log in to get the fire. You don't yell at the fireplace, "You give me heat, then I'll give you the wood." That doesn't make any sense. And so, holding on to anger is not good. Forgiving is really, really important. It's our thinking that creates our moods, and forgiving someone and moving on can be very helpful to yourself. But if you're hold on to anger, you don't forgive people, and you constantly think about oh, this guy wronged me, and you talk to your friends about the story, and you keep bringing the story up, it just hurts yourself a lot, I think, in a lot of ways. What do you think? Is that true? All right. For quote 8, I would choose, live for something that's bigger than you. This is one of the keys to more satisfying life, not necessarily an easier one. Okay, and yeah, I think it's a great saying. And for the next quote, quote 9, I would probably choose, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And it's true in a lot of ways. And I forgot who said it, but we have to be very careful of learned helplessness, which is very real. And there's a story of a baby elephant, like in a circus. We'll take a baby elephant and they'll tie it to like a very small post. And you can't move the post, right? But when it gets bigger, he has a lot more strength. He can easily move that post, but he doesn't. He kind of trained himself to be helpless. And maybe there's some fear attached to it. Maybe it's just a habit. He doesn't want to try again. But a lot of times in our own lives, we may be staying with some crappy job on a relationship that's not working out. And, based on fear, there's some fear to it. Fear holds us back in a lot of ways, rather than making a decision to change things. People don't like change. And I think that some people, they create their own mental prisons in their mind that they can't do things when they can. And it's learned helplessness. So you have to be careful about that. All right. And for quote 10, back to the saying about habit, is a quote from Warren Buffett. And he says, "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken." As the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Um, so you gotta be more flexible in your life. And to me, that's one of the good things about traveling is you go out there, yourself as a personal growth. You travel, and you basically have to adapt, and changing your mind about opinions, changing the way you do things differently. It's very healthy and good. And the older you get, the harder it is to do that because you're just so stuck in your habits and you don't want to change. And that's for myself. I'm trying to be more adaptable, which is a healthy thing to do, I think. All right. All right. Anyways, so I hope you like this video. If you did, if you learned something, please hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate that. If you are interested in making money, which is a good thing to do because it gives you a lot more options when you have money. When you're broke, it sucks, right? Highly encourage you to click on that link below. Okay, and what that is about, it's really just education and training, not only on using social media, but on the very most important thing when it comes to a business, especially like an online, making money online through internet marketing or affiliate marketing, is it helps you when it comes to training on where the rubber meets the road, and that is actually the converting part, which is the most difficult part of internet marketing. So there's a lot of good stuff on that. I can't recommend it enough. Check it out. I'm sure you'll love it. And thanks a lot for your time. And I wish you the best. All right, take care.